Hey, what's up guys? Chris Jr. here for Kriscoart. I can't do this with this. So I had a bit of an accident, but that was a while ago. Yeah, we're testing out the Inspire 2 in the Malibu Hills, and we had a bit of a Today we're talking about all the different ways and different movements that you can do with your drone to achieve more cinematic feeling shots. One of the first and easiest movements that you can kind of start to experiment with is the tilt up to reveal your scenery. And this is really powerful, and it's used in a ton of blockbuster movies. Tease your audience with a little bit of foreground and just ground if you're filming a landscape, and then you just slowly tilt up as you move forward with your drone, and you can get a nice reveal that way. Another way that you can use your drone in a nice and cinematic way is by not thinking of it as a drone, but more of as a jib or a crane. And you can get some similar movements to what you would be getting with like a techno crane with a drone. So that's a really nice way of adding some production value if your story calls for it. Another cool shot that you can get with your drones is a top-down or bird's eye view type of shot, and I really love this. I probably overdo this way too much, but it's such an interesting looking shot, especially when you can play with some patterns and some geometry and different shapes and lines that you can get when you're looking at things from a top-down perspective. Another really cool reveal is to start on a foreground object and then lift up the drone to reveal more of what's in the background. And then as you move up with the drone, you establish the rest of what we're looking at, so that reveal could kind of spark a little bit more curiosity in terms of what's coming into frame. Another great way of achieving that is to actually be pulling back with your drone so that you have all these foreground elements that are being introduced into frame. So that could be a really nice way of even introducing a subject and again building up that curiosity, because if we're pushing in as a viewer, we're seeing the entire landscape, we know exactly what's in front of us. But if we're pulling back, that creates a completely different feel because we don't know what's behind the drone and what's about to enter frame. So that could be a really nice way of again adding some curiosity into your shot or even just building some tension. Now, regardless of what kind of movement you're doing, a great way to make your shot feel a lot more dynamic is by tracking a subject. So whether that's a building or a person, if you're orbiting around them or tracking with them, these are all things that just add a little bit of momentum into your shot and again can add a little bit more of that interest. Now, another really important key element in capturing beautiful cinematic footage with your drone is by making it smooth. And you can do this in 3 different ways. One way is obviously by trying really hard while you're shooting. And this means, not pushing maybe full throttle on those controllers and making your drone go as fast as it can, but really trying to control those movements a little bit more and fine-tuning them that way.
There's a car behind you, Gavin.
And a really good tool for that most drones that DJI makes is the tripod mode. So that allows you to get more fine-tuned movements, and that alone can help you a lot in terms of getting smoother shots that are a little bit more controlled. So let your shot breathe, don't rush it, but also try to add a little bit of time in the beginning and at the end of your shot, just to have some additional editing options, or if you want to add a transition. Now, another way of smoothing things out is by actually recording at a higher frame rate. And you don't have to go crazy slow-mo with your shots if you don't want it to be in slow motion, but even just recording at 30 frames per second can help a little bit with some jitteriness once you slow it down to a 24 frames per second playback. And then finally, another way would be to just use some post tools like warp stabilizer in Premiere and After Effects. I think that's a great tool, and it works great with smoothing out some of your shots that could be a little bit jittery. So that could be a really nice final touch to smooth out any little imperfections in your shot. And I guess the main thing to keep in mind whenever you're trying all these different movements is to get as much coverage as you need. So once you get to the location, don't just start right away by flying your drone up in the air and try to get all these shots. Kind of get a feel for the location and what you have in front of you. So take some time to kind of visually map it out with your own eyes and understand where the best spots could be. Try to get different angles of the same spot, you know, experiment a little bit with different kind of movements, because you never really know what you specifically need once you get to editing. So having a few additional options could really help you in terms of getting the feel that you need out of your sequence. All right guys, so that wraps it up for this video on drone tips and drone cinematic movements. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope that next time that you fly up your drone, you can get some nice, beautiful cinematic images. I definitely appreciate the feedback that you leave in the comment section below. So definitely keep doing that. And if you did enjoy this video, give it a like and share it around just to help out the channel. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris for Kriscoart, and I will see you next time. We did our boosted board with no brakes test on possibly the sketchiest curve in all of Malibu. I'm exaggerating, but I took a pretty hard hit. Can't say it was fun. I would rate that experience a 2 out of 10. And I will not do that again.
We need a second take there.
I